to you? We back here once again, new video. We are back once again. This time today, we're not doing just a straight up film review, as we see that Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania releases next week, and I am so excited for that movie coming, as I've been seeing and hearing nothing but overwhelmingly positive reactions to this movie, and I got a feeling this thing is going to be crazy. So I sat there and decided, why don't we just go ahead and do a video talking about the most anticipated comic book movies coming out for the rest of this year, as we have 9 comic book movies being released in the theaters this year. I'm so excited for them all. We have a stacked lineup for them, and I cannot wait to see how they all play out. Is it going to be better than last year? Is this going to be one of the best years for comic book movies? We shall see. I'm gonna go along for the ride as a whole. As you all can tell and see through my Funko Pops and posters, I am the biggest comic book movie fan out there, as this genre is near and dear to my heart always. So I don't want to waste any more of you guys' time. Let's just go ahead and get straight into the list by kicking off things with number 9. Number 9 on my most anticipated comic book movies list is going to kick off with Kraven the Hunter. Now, Kraven the Hunter is not being distributed by the MCU. They're not being produced by the MCU whatsoever. Kevin Feige has no involvement with this movie whatsoever. This is a strictly Sony Spider-Man movie from their universe of Venom, Morbius, and whatnot. And I gotta say, I don't have much excitement for this movie whatsoever. I just really don't. After seeing how Morbius played out and the team they got behind these Sony Universe Spider-Man movies, I don't have my full trust and faith in Sony to deliver with these kinds of movies. The Venom movies are fun, yeah, but if you see the way Morbius has turned out, we don't want to talk about Morbius. But yeah, Morbius was a steaming hot pile of shit. I don't know why Sony hires the people that they do to make these movies. Go out there and get qualified filmmakers behind your movies, and they're actually going to turn out good. Why do you keep hiring these writers who have no fucking experience with these kinds of movies or making quality movies, period? Sony, pick this shit up. You've done great shit with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. But once you do too much shit, that's how it all comes apart. And I hope for the best for this Kraven movie, because I want it to be good. But for right now, it's at the bottom of this list because I have no true hype or anticipation for this, because we don't even know what this movie is about at the end of the day. Spider-Man's more than likely not going to be a part of this. We've literally seen nothing about this movie. We've heard nothing, no synopsis, nothing at all about this movie. So I have nothing to go based off of for this movie. So it's at the bottom. Next up at number 8 is going to be Blue Beetle. Now, Blue Beetle was originally supposed to be released on HBO Max, but then they promoted it to get a theatrical release. That's a positive sign right there. And the things that I've heard and looked upon about the Blue Beetle character as a whole, it sounds interesting about how they can try to pull off this kind of character onto the big screen. Something different and unique, as we're getting some Latino representation in the mix. I love that. And this movie should be great. There's not much we know about the movie as a whole right now. We just basically have the little teaser poster. I'm hoping just maybe, and I mean maybe, we might get some sort of little tease during the Super Bowl next week, but I don't think so. Because they're going to heavily promote The Flash, which we'll talk about shortly in a moment. But yeah, once I start to see more pictures, a teaser and whatnot, to really get a feel of what this movie is about, then I can start to get more excited about this movie. But I'm looking forward to it if they're promoting this movie from HBO Max to an actual theatrical release. So that's a positive sign right there, and I cannot wait to see how this movie turns out. Coming in at number 7, we have Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom. Now, I really enjoyed that first Aquaman movie that released a couple of years back. I believe it was 2019, if I'm correct. But that Aquaman movie was a fun, nice, new film from DC, a very much needed win for them at the time of the release of that film. And it was very fun. It wasn't the best comic book movie in the world. It's nothing special. It doesn't exceed the genre and anything, but it was a great, fun time in the theater. It has a little bit of campiness to it, and there's some self-awareness to the film as well, and I really enjoyed all of that. As we got Jason Momoa, who I feel is great as the lead in Aquaman. He's great. Patrick Wilson's coming back for this film as well. I know all of you have your opinions on Amber Heard, so I won't even touch that subject. But overall, I enjoyed the first Aquaman. James Wan is a great filmmaker at the end of the day, so I know he'll do a great job with this sequel, especially since he's been given so much more time to fully make and develop this film even more when it comes to the visual effects and everything, because at first he was on a bit of a time crunch to the point where he even said himself he didn't know if this film was going to make its original release date. But we don't have this movie coming out until way in December, so that gives James Wan plenty of time to do the right adjustments, do all the nice little finishing touches on the film to deliver us another great Aquaman movie at the end of the day. Now, will this be Jason Momoa's last time as Aquaman? Could we be seeing him down the line as a different DC character, in particular Lobo? We shall see down the line. We shall see. Coming in at number 6, we have The Marvels. Now, we don't know much about this movie at all. I know some people that was at D23, they saw a little bit of footage of this movie, so they may have a little bit of a grasp of what this movie is about. But I'm looking forward to this movie at the end of the day, just based on the characters alone, as we have Carol Danvers, obviously, coming back as Captain Marvel. We got Kamala Khan jumping onto the big screen as Miss Marvel, a part of this movie. And we also have the grown-up Monica Rambeau that we were introduced to in WandaVision, who I thought was great in that show as well. And they're teaming up in this movie, and they're all coming together. And we saw nice little teases of what this story could possibly be leading to during the post-credit scene of the final episode of Miss Marvel, when the two switched places. So I'm very curious and intrigued to see how that comes about. And we also have Miss Nia DaCosta directing this movie. And if you did not know who Miss Nia DaCosta is, she's the lady who directed the fantastic Candyman movie that dropped in 2021. So I cannot wait to see how she takes on a whole superhero movie, because she is a great storyteller, and that's what Kevin Feige looks for at the end of the day, is that's great storytellers. No matter what genre it is, whether it's horror, comedy, action, all that good stuff, a good storyteller is a good storyteller at the end of the day, and that is what this young woman is. And I cannot wait to see what she does with these young ladies. I got a feeling all of these women are going to kill it with this movie. They're going to kill it. Coming in at the top 5, rounding up the top 5, is The Flash. Now, there are a lot of mixed feelings I've had about this movie during its production, obviously because of their asshole in a lead star, Ezra Miller, actually sabotaging the release of this film and the production behind it due to his antics all over the world, being a theft, burglary, assault, all that stuff. So my excitement and anticipation for this film dwindled down a little bit because of all that. And I even felt maybe they need to just recast this role as a whole and just reshoot these scenes. But in Hollywood, that would have been a very, very, very tough task, because apparently Ezra Miller is playing multiple roles in this film. So there's nothing more we can do about that. He's just gonna be on here for this one film, which I hope, James Gunn, you better not bring this motherfucker back for another film, because if you do, I'm done with DC. But outside of that, I have heard nothing but fantastic things about this movie. James Gunn himself said that this might be one of the best superhero movies ever made. Literally, everybody who's seen a test screening for this movie have said that it is absolutely fantastic. And that is why I'm going to support this movie. Just because everybody, outside of bitch-ass Ezra Miller, everybody else behind this movie that was on the production side, Andy Muschietti, it would not be fair to them if they would have just outright scrapped this movie as a whole or done the whole reshoots, because that would have been very taxing and time-consuming on them, because apparently Andy Muschietti, who directed the first 2 It movies, he directed another great movie in this one. and that is why I'm excited for this. We also have Michael Keaton coming back for this movie, and this is one of the last movies of the past DC regime before everything changes. And this is going to be a nice little reset to the entire DC universe as a whole. And I'm actually excited to see this movie. But at the end of the day, it is always going to be fuck Ezra Miller. Coming in at number 4, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Now, I had a deep love and appreciation for that first Shazam movie that dropped in 2019. Zachary Levi was fantastic in the lead as Shazam, as it was filled with a lot of heart. It was very fun, a lot of joy all throughout. And you really had a great time just seeing this family interact with one another, and Billy acclimating himself to this foster home just based off his circumstances, that he lost his mom when he was a young child at an amusement park in the first movie, and now he's growing, adapting, he's gotten into some trouble, but he has a good heart at the end of the day. So then he's chosen to become Shazam, and then he gives the Shazam powers to his family members as well. And that's the main thing I'm looking forward to in this next movie, is seeing the Shazam family as a whole and how they're gonna go about facing these threats. I cannot wait to see how they face off with the threats in Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren, and what their whole goal is about, as it's looking like they're pissed off because the powers of Shazam were given to some young kids. And I cannot wait to see how that conflict all comes about. The last trailer was pretty good, and I'm excited for it. That is why Shazam! Fury of the Gods is at number 4. We are now in the top 3, and kicking off the top 3, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. A lot of threes there. That was not intended. But I love this cast of characters. Just them interacting with one another and building their family bond with one another is what really endeared me into these characters as a whole. And I'm excited to come back around and seeing a movie just centered around these characters, because it seems like it's been a long time since we've had a straight up Guardians of the Galaxy movie. The last one came out in 2017. Then James Gunn got fired from the director's chair for this movie because of some past tweets a long while ago, which he probably should have never been fired for in the first place because it was so long ago. But now he's back. They got the movie on track. We're getting it this year. This is the last time we're seeing this specific group of Guardians of the Galaxy together. And I love them all. It's probably gonna be a very emotional movie, as you just feel the heavy emotion all throughout that first trailer, as some key characters are going to die in this movie. I fully expect Drax up out of there, and then he's more than likely going to jump ship to Warner Bros. With his boy James Gunn, and he's going to be there for the foreseeable future. But Guardians of the Galaxy 3 should be fantastic. James Gunn is going to knock this out of the park because he's been killing it with Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, and now he's writing the new Superman movie that comes out in 2025. So I am just outright excited for it all, and I cannot wait to see what he does with this last Guardians movie. Rounding up the top 2. Kicking off the top 2, which you know which ones they are. You know which ones they'd be placed if you know me. But obviously, at number 2, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Now, more and more over time, as I've seen trailers and footage for this movie and hearing things about this movie, my excitement level shot through the roof. And this is not going to be like the first 2 Ant-Man movies, because those first 2 Ant-Man movies were more like palate cleansers of the MCU. They were very small scale superhero movies. And if you noticed, both of those first 2 Ant-Man movies came out literally right after the release of an Avengers movie. Ant-Man 1 came out after Age of Ultron. Ant-Man and the Wasp came out right after Infinity War, because you have these big universal world-ending stakes in these Avengers movies, and now it's perfect how we were able to bring it all back down to a city street level. And that first Ant-Man movie in particular, which I loved, was more of a bit of a heist movie. That's what it really was at the end of the day. And so was Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I enjoyed, just not as much as the first Ant-Man movie. But man, with this Quantumania movie, you can tell Peyton Reed, he wanted an Avengers level, big budget, all massive scale movie, and that's exactly what he's delivering right now. And the reactions on social media to this movie have been nothing short of fantastic. And it's getting me even more excited for this movie because I'm going to watch it next Thursday at 4 o'clock, and I'm getting chills already as it is because some of them are saying this is the best MCU movie in a while. The best one since No Way Home? We shall see. But Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, major stakes ahead of us. We're gonna get another variant of Kang, who people are raving about and are saying that he's the next Thanos and he might be even better than Thanos. We shall see, because that is a very tall order right there. That is a very tall order. But Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania at number 2 most anticipated comic book movies. And for number 1, come on now. For y'all that know me, y'all know what number 1 was the whole time. Come on now, the greatest superhero of all time. Better than Batman, better than Superman, better than Iron Man. Spider-Man is the GOAT, and that is why my most anticipated comic book movie of this year is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Until Spider-Man No Way Home came out, I sat there and said Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is the best Spider-Man movie we have ever seen. Because that movie, it was Miles Morales was fantastic. All of the voice acting was fantastic. We got introduced to a new animation style that looked fantastic and very much looked like a straight comic book being brought to life on the big screen, and that's what endeared me. And Miles and him interacting with these characters is what really made the movie, as we were introduced to Peter B. Parker, Gwen Stacy Spider-Woman, and all the Spider-Man universe Spider-Man that we got in Spider-Pig, Spider-Man Noir, and now we're going to an even bigger scale with going across the Spider-Verse, not just into, across. We saw Spider-Man PS4 was in there. Peter B. Parker's coming back. We got Ben Reilly Spider-Man showing up in there. I fully expect, if it's not going to happen in this one, I'm willing to bet money right here, right now, that Tom Holland is going to make an animated cameo appearance in this movie. And maybe, and in a very dark horse, outside chance that we might get Toby and Andrew coming back to lend their voices in this animated world of Spider-Man. Because if you're gonna go across the Spider-Verse and have all these different Spider-Men come in now, then there's no way you don't include them. There's no way. I'm willing to bet money that they got on the phone call with them about it right after No Way Home. I'm willing to bet money about that. And so this movie is going to be fantastic. It comes out in June, my birthday month. So that's good luck sign right there for me. I just hope that they don't keep the focus on, look guys, look, we got this Spider-Man here, we got this Spider-Man here, we got this Spider-Man here. No, what really made that first Into Spider-Verse movie was the interactions between these different Spider-Man and them coming together and showcasing what really made them be Spider-Man at the end of the day. And I just loved that whole thing about it. The multiverse is expanding in the world of comic book movies. And that is why Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is at number 1 on my most anticipated comic book movies of the year. But that's it from me, you guys. I gave you my rankings all through there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for supporting me on this journey. I cannot wait to have more content coming out for you guys. And man, I will see you guys all on the flip side, talking more movies, all that good stuff. And yeah, you enjoy the rest of your days, and I'll talk to you soon.